The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Central Matsu, Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34962. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Starting under the front bumper, you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks attached to the passenger and driver's side frame rail. On the angled portion of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Just inside of that location, you'll find the front air horns. Toward the center, you'll find the unit designator 5-1. As we move up onto the bumper extension, you'll find on the passenger side the front turret. Just inside of that location, you'll find hose storage location directly in the center. Moving just to the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge, and then located on the very front of the bumper extension, driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the cab area, starting on the outer edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator. Just inside that location, you'll find the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam is on the inside. On the outer edge of the A-pillar is where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light, and then also 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. As we move to the windshield area, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find a mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move to the very top section, you'll find a downward-pointing convex mirror over the driver's side. Moving directly in the center, part of your 360-degree camera system, you'll find your forward-facing camera. You'll also find directly above that brow lights and also forward-facing floodlights. As we move up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located within inside the light bar in the center, you'll find your opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the items that we just talked about. First, the edge here showing the turret, and then also side-facing emergency warning light and headlight structure. As we move around, you'll find a tubbed storage location directly next to the turret area. Also, storage location for front hose, 2.5-inch discharge, and also your mechanical siren. As we move around to the side, you'll find your shoreline inlet. This is a 30-amp auto eject plug. Let's take a quick look at the cab area. This is going to be the driver's side of the vehicle, and now we'll take a look at the passenger side of the vehicle. Let's focus in now on the driver's side cab. We'll start at the front bumper extension, once again with the auto eject plug, right next to it a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move up onto the door, you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand your door latches. They are keyed, and then next to those you'll find the grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move to the rear section of the cab, you'll find an emergency warning light in the lower section. As we move directly over the front axle, you'll find an additional emergency warning light. And then all the way up on top of the roof, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. As we move around to the passenger side, same cab configurations. Let's move down to the front axle, where you'll find Goodyear Tires Alcoa wheel, and then also a center sight gauge. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the driver's space. We'll first start with the driver's door panel. Starting at the bottom, you'll find all of our safety and warning information placards. You'll also find the door lock and latch combination. And then directly above that, you'll find window controls for all 4 cab windows, grab handle, and also some warning placards. As we move downward on the door, you'll also find these additional placards. This is the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number, all of the components for fluid capacity and fluid type. This placard is also located on about the right ankle of the operator on the side of the engine cowling. As we move to the base of the seat, you'll find when plugged into shore power, your auto charge system will become active, indicating the status.
Moving up from that location, you'll find comfort controls for the operator, air ride, and also front and back. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, general view here, let's first start down at the floorboard, where you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move directly above this location, you'll find a panel. This is your master battery switch located on the left. As we move to the right, you'll find the tech module, and then also just right next to it is the engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. As we move down, we have a few switches. First, we'll start with ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, indicator, and regen inhibit. You'll also find just to the right of that location the display. Just to go over a couple more, this is the DPF regen, also engine diagnostics, and then further to the right, the regen inhibit switch. And then once again, down at the very bottom, your display port. Moving directly above this location, you'll find pump controls. First starting on the left with the stationary OK to pump and roll indicator. To the right, you'll find the generator CAFS PTO switch, water pump, foam system, CAFS switch, and then just to the right, you'll find your tank to pump open and close from within inside the cab area. Those will indicate green that they are in the open position. Let's move further up from this location to the opposite side of the steering column, where you'll find your tank dump master, driver's side dump valve, passenger side dump valve, a camera event record, your 360-degree camera, and do not move your apparatus override. Down at the very bottom, you'll find the interaxle differential lock indicator and air switch. Let's move up to the dash area, starting first on the left with the start and ignition switch. This is the far left-hand side of the dash. Right next to that, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage or disengage all emergency lights. Also, headlight and panel light. To the right, high idle indicator and high idle switch. As we move to the dash cluster, you'll find, first starting on the left, the transmission temperature, oil, def level, and water temp. On the right, you'll find front and rear air, fuel, and volts. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's go ahead and take a quick look just to the right, general view of the operator's area. We'll start at the very top with the command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips, accessible with a gloved hand. Also currently displaying your 360-degree camera. As we move down from that location, you'll find the engine brake on-off switch, setting switch for low, medium, and high for that engine brake, mirror heat, off-road traction, front wheel lock, and then also a protected switch, which is your tire change, which is required to depress first before activating the lever. As we move down to the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It's the yellow diamond. As we move down, you'll find flat mirror and convex mirror control, and then just to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad, digital readout, push button. We do have a few warning labels and also hazard information just to the right regarding engaging your automatic tire chains and also using the front wheel lock. As we move to the right, you do have a camera view that will switch between the various cameras. Just beneath that, windshield wiper speed and also push to apply windshield wiper fluid. Further to the right, you'll find climate control for heat, defrost, and air conditioning. And then just beneath that, 12-volt power via barrel style. As we look overhead in the center, you'll find do not move your apparatus light, indicating that you have a compartment or door open. As we move overhead of the operator, I'd like to point out this yellow placard indicating the height of the feet, indicating the height of the vehicle, 11 feet 2.35 inches, the length 36 feet 11.68 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 76,000 pounds. 5-digit job number also located on this placard. As we move further to the right, you'll find the Emergency Master, Opticom, lighted handrails, air horn, Big Dipper, and also the fuel primer. You do have some future switches that are blank if you need to add additional. Moving further to the right, you'll find front flood, moose light, driver side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, load manager, perimeter lights, and a siren brake. As you can see, these are indicating that they are on, indicating green around the outer edge. Let's move further to the right, where you'll find your module for your siren control and PA speaker. As we move further to the right, we do have a digital pump pressure readout and also tank vision here regarding your water tank and foam tank level A indicators. Directly in the center, you'll find your unit radio. As we move just to the right of the operator, you'll find MapBook storage location. And then as we move directly behind the operator seat, you'll find when plugged into shore power, the outlet on the vertical side sheet will be active. Also, you'll find your auto charge system, which is plugged into it, will also become active, maintaining battery charge. As we move just to the left in the image, you'll find your air compressor. This is to maintain brake pressure when your vehicle is off and plugged into shore power. As we move to the rear section of the cab, once again affixed to the door panel, as we've mentioned before, all of our safety and warning information. Electric windows, door lock and latch, and a grab handle. General view here inside the cab area. We do have additional storage over the rear seats. Lighted storage inside. As we move to the forward section, in between the two seats, you'll find a roll-up compartment, LED lights, and adjustable shelving. As we move to the rear section of the engine, daily checks for oil and transmission. Moving now to the rear section, you'll find on each passenger and driver's side roll-up compartment doors with LED lighting and adjustable shelves inside these compartments. Directly overhead of the two rear wall SCBA seats, you'll find additional storage LED lighting inside this area. Let's go ahead and move exterior now. We'll start with a full view of the apparatus on the driver's side, all compartments open. Let's focus in now on the notch area. At the very top section of this area, you'll find a backboard storage location. Moving downward from this location, your cross lays. Also a warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from above, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move downward in the notch area, you'll find two 2.5 discharges located on this side, ball valve. As we move to the very top section, you'll find a warning regarding do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also your foam auxiliary location for fill. As we move downward from this location, the Pierce American Flag Eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. All the way up to the very top, and this is going to be a override for that pump inlet because of it being an electric valve. As we move to the right, you'll find pressure hazard warning. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them, and also when climbing on the vehicle, face the vehicle. Moving down, 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, and across the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's take a look at some close-ups. These are the two 2.5-inch discharges located on the left-hand side, controlled via a ball valve. You'll also find the override for your inlet. As we move down, auxiliary inlet at the very bottom section to the right. This is the driver's side auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch female ball valve. And then across the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's go and take a quick look at the entire pump panel area. Compartment door is open. We'll start at the very top section with an LED light. If your pump is properly engaged, this LED light will illuminate, indicating OK to pump. As we move down on the pump panel, we do have a warning regarding your CAFS system. Also, the green module is your foam tank level A indicator. And then just to the right, you'll find the Hercules CAFS system. That's the blue module. Moving further to the right, you'll find your Husky foam system module, or control your foam. And then as we move further to the right, you'll find two large gauges. First, your pump intake gauge and pump discharge. These are the two master gauges. In between those two, you'll find test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and are for testing purposes. As we move to the very far right, you'll find a Pcm Fault Indicator. It's an audible alarm. Also, just beneath that, the outer edge of that bezel does rotate. Also, pump overheat indicator and audible alarm. As we move down, we'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. As we move to the very center, you'll find a temperature sensor. And then underneath that, you'll find control for your CAFS system. Moving further to the right, you'll find your Pierce pressure throttle governor. It also has a water tank level indicator in the blue module. As we move down, you'll find all of our CAFS switches and LED light indicators when they are active. Also, your Husky 12 foam system specification and placard instructions. On the left, the tank fill. and then our main and passenger side inlet, open and close electric valves, and tank to pump. Moving just to the right, you'll find your rear direct tank fill, the number 2 passenger side, and also large diameter passenger side discharge valves. Those are electric. Also your auto tank fill located in the lower left. In red, you'll find a push button for the air horn. As we move to the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. This is push to prime. These are going to be for your fire pump and also for the rear intake. As we move down, you'll find the recirculating line, quarter turn, and then moving further to the right, you'll find 2 heater controls, first for diesel and the other is compartments. Moving further to the very far right, you'll find your thermatically controlled gauge heater. Let's move down to the very bottom section where you find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. You'll also find on the very far left your CAFS system. This is also an outlet. And then moving to the right, you'll find behind the pan door, this is the control module for fill or operation of your Husky foam system. As you move to the vertical wall, you'll find your cab lift. There is instructions to raise and to lower. Also some caution and danger information. Just be sure all things are secured inside the cab before tilting. As we move to the opposite vertical seat, you'll find a warning regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. At the very top, the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left, the associated GPM, and on the right, the associated RPM. Govern speed 2100 RPMs. As we move directly above, you'll find breaker boxes. This is for the G1, which stands for generator, also a generator indicator, and then just to the right you'll find S1, which stands for shoreline power. You'll also find on the far right hand side the yellow handheld control module. This is for your light tower located on top of the cab roof. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, this is the generator AC volts, and then also S1, which is the shoreline inlet. G1, which stands for, once again, generator power. Those are all your breakers for it. And then as we look now to the control module for the light mast tower. You do have additional storage locations. These happen to be a toolbox style storage directly in the same compartment. As we move to the next compartment to the rear, you'll find the fill location for your DEF tank. It's the blue cap, and then also 2 SCBA bottle storage locations with retaining straps. Moving up, D handle gains access to the backside of the toolboard. When the toolboard is in the open position, it will lock into position. The release mechanism is located on the right hand side of the hinge. As we move down to the axle, just a close-up here, DEF tank, 4.5 gallons, blue cap, SCBA bottle storage. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tandems in the very rear. Once again, Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels. Looking directly under, you'll find your tire chains. Moving back up to the compartment itself, you have LED lighting, adjustable shelf, and dry deck material. As we move to the rear, you'll find the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. It's the silver cap. Let's go ahead and take a look in the other compartments here. At the very rear section, you have adjustable shelving and also a pull-out tray in the lower section. The release mechanism is located on the right-hand side of the tray. It will also lock in position, requiring you to push that down to return it to storage. Rear inlet air bleeder just underneath the compartment next to your wheel chock or folding wheel chock storage location. General view here of the rear of the apparatus. We'll start in the very top section of the apparatus. Driver and passenger side is going to have the long-handled tool storage and then also your drafting tubes. As we move downward on the passenger and driver side, you'll find an emergency warning light at the top, rear-facing floodlight, tank visual indicator regarding the water tank, and then as we move further down to the bottom, we have an additional cup switch, and that switch located directly above the tail lights is the driver's side dump chute. General storage located in the very rear section. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge rear. Also at the very top, entanglement hazard warning, and also a direct tank fill. This is an electronic valve at the rear. Moving to the left, you'll find your rear inlet. Also a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. And then just to the right, you'll find the fill location, 2.5-inch direct tank fill, female coupling. Let's move to the very bottom section, directly under the Pierce logos, where you'll find additional storage, and also you'll find a tow hook located on this side. As we move to the very top section, right side, drafting tube and also long-handled tool storage. Also, I'd like to point out, when climbing on the vehicle, always face the vehicle and never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. The ladder does extend. There is the possibility of a pinch point. Be cautious here when you're in operation. As we move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, all compartment doors in the open. Let's start at the rear section of the apparatus. Tool board here. D-handle gains you access into this area. Also, release mechanism on the back side when it does open to full open position. You'll also find a pull-out tray. It does pull out and also has the release mechanism located on the right-hand side, and also shoreline plugs in the very rear section, also generated power. As we move forward to this location, at the very bottom section, you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 3 to the rear of the axle, retaining straps, adjustable shelving. Close-up of those 3 SCBA bottle straps. As we move upward into the compartment, you'll find a tool board located in the forward section. D-handle gains access. Once again, it will lock into position. And then also a full SCBA storage location here for a full pack. Let's move now just in front of the axles, where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen. Be careful where you park your vehicle. You'll also find adjustable shelving and 2 trays located in this compartment. Also, coming through the uppermost portion of the compartment is where you'll find your cord reel cord. It's your electrical cord, and also a generated power outlet. Cord reel rewind, 20 amp, 200 feet. Let's go ahead and move forward of this location. We're at the notch area, just to the rear of the cab area, where you'll find backboard storage in the upper portion. Same configuration and layout as you have on the driver's side. As we move down to the bottom, would like to point out, extremely cautious, warning regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move to the notch, you'll find a lift and turn latch will gain you access into this area. We'll go over that in just a moment. Just to the right, you'll find your water strainer. Also warning regarding face the vehicle when climbing on it. As we move further to the right, you'll find the Pierce logo, American flag, eagle, large diameter pump inlet, and you'll also find in the uppermost portion here a cutout for the override for that inlet. Also, right next to that, you'll find a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. And then you're also going to find your 2.5-inch passenger side discharge. It's an electric valve, so therefore it does have an override. As we move downward, you'll find the large diameter passenger side discharge. It also has an override. And then as we move further down and just like to the left, you'll find the 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet for the passenger side. This is going to be a female coupling ball valve. Across the bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's take a look in the lift and turn latch. You'll find the foam tank shutoff valve and also foam drain. Let's take a look at some close-ups. This is your Pierce American flag eagle, large diameter pump inlet. As we move downward, you'll find the passenger side auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch ball valve, and also female coupling. Across the bottom, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move forward to this location into the cab area. We'll first start with the door panel in the rear, where you'll find all of our safety and warning information placard. You'll also find electric window control, door lock and latch, and also a grab handle. As we look overhead, you'll find red LED lights and also your stereo speaker system. As we move to the rear cab, you'll find 2 forward-facing seats and also 2 rear-facing seats. All the seats do house SCBA brackets within them. Let's go ahead and move outside now into the driver and passenger area. We'll start with the officer space first. Door panel affixed to it. All of our safety and warning information. You'll also find door lock and latch, electric windows, and a grab handle. As we move inside of the officer space, you'll find your turret monitoring device. This will locate where your turret position is. As we move downward, you'll find your vehicle is equipped with an airbag, SRS, supplemental restraint system. Also warning, do not mount anything within this area. Close up here of the turret control. And then also as we move down, supplemental restraint system for crash protection. Once again, don't mount anything within this area. As we move to the floorboard, you'll find on the A-pillar the mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move about to the left of the operator, you'll find push to talk, all of your air horn, siren brake, and also USB access 12 volt. Directly behind the seat, you'll find your unit radio module. Looking overhead, you'll find red LED lights. As we move to the dash area in the very center, you're going to find your Pierce information seat. Red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they're in the seat and belted. Let's move just to the right where you'll find a light panel switch housing the front flood, moose light, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, and perimeter lights. Moving further to the right, you'll find your stereo, AM/FM radio, weather band, and also Sirius XM CD player. As you move directly behind the officer seat, you'll find your module for your unit radio. Your officer seat is equipped with a bracketed seat belt. As we move to the roof of the apparatus, you'll find it is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these two placards indicating that. Directly behind the light bar is where you'll find your scene light. This is for your night scan. And as we move to the dunnage area of the apparatus, you'll find yellow diamonds indicating the walking surface. As we move inside the dunnage into the compartment, you'll find your CAFS system. Also, you'll find a fan located for your Husky 12 foam system. This is the hydraulic reservoir and pump system. As we move just to the right, you'll find your electrical cord reel. Once again, 200 feet, 20 amp. There is also a breaker located in the upper portion. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus where you'll find additional storage location in the dunnage area next to the A-tank fill location. There is a warning placard on your fill tank indicating do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also, top fill location for your water tank. General view here of the apparatus. We'll go ahead and close all of the doors now. Top section here. This is capable of withstanding a firefighter's weight. As we move around to the rear, let's just point out a few things. This is your backup camera, part of your 360-degree camera system. Also, side-facing camera on the driver's side. And then as we look now to the passenger side, also your camera system. Just a quick video here of your apparatus. Congratulations, Central Matsu, Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 34962. If you have any questions regarding this video or your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.